In Islam, guidance about dogs is built on wisdom, balance, and spiritual protection. Islam never teaches hatred toward any animal. In fact, kindness to every creature is considered an act of worship. The Prophet Muhammad told us about a man who found a dog dying of thirst, climbed into a well, filled his shoe with water, and saved its life. Because of this one act of mercy, Allah forgave his sins. This story shows that compassion in Islam extends even to animals that people may fear or avoid. But Islam also teaches discipline. Dogs are not kept inside the living space of a home without a valid reason because their saliva is impure. And angels of mercy do not enter a house where a dog is kept unnecessarily. This rule protects spiritual purity, not because dogs are evil, but because a believer's home is meant to be a place of light, tranquility, and blessings. However, there are situations where keeping a dog is completely allowed and even beneficial. A trained dog for hunting is mentioned directly in the Quran, showing that necessity changes the ruling. Guard dogs used for protecting property, livestock, crops, or dangerous areas are also permitted. In such cases, the dog becomes a tool of safety, security, and lawful benefit. Islam teaches that every allowance and every prohibition has a purpose. When a dog is kept for pride, luxury, or fashion, it harms the spiritual environment of the home. But when it is kept with responsibility for a needed purpose, the believer remains within the boundaries of faith. The message is simple. Kindness to animals is mandatory. Harming them is forbidden. And keeping them for the right reason is allowed. Islam stands between mercy and discipline, compassion and purity. A Muslim must protect both the physical world around him and the spiritual world inside his heart. This balance reflects the beauty of the Islamic way of life. A believer must remember that responsibility is a part of faith. If he keeps a dog for a valid purpose, he must treat it well, feed it properly, and never harm or neglect it. The Prophet said that every living creature deserves kindness, so even when a dog is kept outside the home, its comfort, shelter, and food remain the owner's duty. In the modern world, where many keep animals for status or entertainment, Islam reminds us to act with intention, not imitation. A Muslim does not follow trends blindly. He follows wisdom that protects both his worldly life and his afterlife. The goal is always the same, to remain close to Allah, to act with mercy, and to preserve the purity of the heart and the home. When these values come together, mercy, discipline, and responsibility, they create a life filled with clarity and peace. This is why Islamic teachings on dogs are not restrictions to fear, but guidance meant to protect the believer's spiritual light and moral balance.